It's important to know when you've been triggered by something. And I know the term triggered is a bit of a buzzword nowadays, but I'm basically using it to describe when someone says something or does something that immediately elicits an emotional reaction in you. One that's kind of more instinctual based on your past conditioning than anything else. Something that's not really voluntarily under your control, at least until you work on it. It's important to know what your triggers are so that way when you're navigating the social world with other people, you're going to know when someone could rile you up and then be able to control yourself after that by having the self-awareness to know that they triggered you. It's really important because it will help your relationships. For instance, earlier today, I was doing laundry in my apartment and I happened to just let the lid fall down on its own, which made a pretty loud sound, and I never really think about that. I just do it. I don't think twice about it. It's just something that happened. I don't slam it down because I'm angry. I just let it fall. And my roommate heard it and he said, "Easy," in a somewhat stern and somewhat on the loud side with his voice. And that triggered me hardcore, and I realized it in the moment. It made me immediately get really flustered and put me into sort of fight mode. And the reason why is because it triggered my prior conditioning from when I was growing up and I was emotionally bullied. It reminded me of the times when I would be getting bullied by moronic boys back then, and they would basically rile me up. And then once I was pissed off and ready to basically go to war with them, they would then be like, "Easy, easy." They would mock me after they riled me up. And that made me so mad back then that when my roommate even just said that word in a somewhat similar way, it triggered me. It made me have a similar emotional response where immediately I started getting worked up. I could feel the adrenaline coursing through my body. And I was like, whoa, what the hell? That's trippy. So it's important to notice when this happens to you because it's going to happen to all of us from time to time. I mean, we've all had histories and we've all had various traumatic experiences. And if someone says something or does something that reminds you of something in the past where you basically started becoming defensive, you created walls and boundaries to protect yourself, well, now similar things are going to trigger you because they're going to take your mind back to those times. So just like my roommate saying "easy," it triggered me because it reminded me of those times I was bullied as a kid. So you need to be aware of these things when it happens in the moment. It's kind of difficult to be aware of them before they happen because some of us may have a ton of different things that are going to trigger us. So all you can really do is kind of look back in the past and just come to peace with the things that used to really upset you or traumatize you. But then when you feel yourself getting worked up in the moment by something someone says or something they do, just try to be aware of it. If you notice that you're getting triggered, then you can choose to react differently rather than immediately playing out those old school habits from your past conditioning. You can choose to go, "Whoa, that triggered me. I'm aware of this. Let me take a few deep breaths before I react," instead of just immediately responding in the way that my conditioning had me do for tons of years of my life. And that's what I did. I immediately reacted, but rather than yelling at my roommate or anything or causing a fight, I just kind of looked over at him and gave him this kind of coy look. And then that was my immediate reaction. I normally don't do that at all, but I gave him this sort of like look like that because I didn't understand why it was a big deal basically. But after the fact, I told him, I said, "Hey, it's interesting. When you said that to me, it triggered me. Like I literally felt adrenaline start coursing through my body because it reminded me of when I was getting bullied when I was younger." And I said, that was really interesting. And with other people, I mean, my roommate, this goes without saying, I don't need to say it to him, but with other people, it may be helpful to even tell them that, hey, look, in the future, maybe you don't want to say those words around me, or maybe just not act in that way around me. Although, of course, be careful how you do that because you may make people think that you're a little bit on the sensitive side. And while that's not the worst thing that could happen, you basically just want people to work with you. You don't want them to change who they are for you, right? So just kind of phrase it in a way like that. But it's important to tell people when they've done that to you, provided there's someone that you actually respect and trust and you want to keep in your life. Because if it is someone you don't care about and someone who is a bit of a bully to you, and nowadays, even as an adult, maybe it's a coworker or family member or whatever, you may not want to bring it to their awareness that what they're doing is triggering you. In fact, they'll probably know. They'll be able to tell from your emotional response. So in those moments, just take a few deep breaths and try to breathe through what they're doing, because they're trying to get a response out of you. But when it's just a friend or your romantic interest or your significant other, just tell them that, hey, look, that reminds me of my past. So just know if you say that thing in the future or you act that way in the future, it may make me act a certain way. So just know that when that happens, it's because you're literally making me relive things in the past that I didn't enjoy. And it has nothing to do with you per se. Like, I'm not mad at you. It's just you're making me remember World War II in my case, or your World War II, basically, to put it into metaphor. So yeah, it's important to have awareness around what triggers you, so that way you can just help your relationships with other people, so you don't immediately fly off at them and start attacking them and wanting to fight them because they're making you feel that fight or flight energy that you felt in the past with those things that triggered you. So that's pretty much all I wanted to talk about in this video today, because that experience with my roommate just kind of made me realize this is an important thing to talk about, and it's important to be a healthy, mature adult surrounding it, where you just kind of become aware about it and then aim to work on it and go from there. So that's all I have for you guys today. If you enjoy videos like this, and be sure to subscribe if you aren't already. Otherwise, like the video. It's the easiest way to help me out. Let me know your thoughts on this topic in the comment section below, and share the video to anyone who would be helped by it. But otherwise, remember guys, we're all in this journey together. So the most important thing is that you just keep going, keep moving forward. That's literally the most important thing. But also just remember to develop awareness surrounding what triggers you. And then when you do get triggered, just breathe through it and choose to react to it in a healthy manner, rather than immediately just letting your emotions overwhelm you and guide your actions. Don't want to do that. But anyway, I'll see you guys in the next video. Arrivederci!